case is temporary anchorage devices. Well, as we know that the occlusal canting, as we know before, cause some of the facial symmetry. Of course, the facial asymmetry could be only the maxilla, could be both of the maxilla and the mandible, and also that affects the soft tissue as well. So no matter what that is, the treatment of the occlusal canting and the facial symmetry, well, according to the literature review that we are able to use taste because taste now is very convenient for us to use it. And also they have been reported before, for example, they use headgear for the improvement of, or earlier that we had to put the patient in surgery. I still remember when I was a resident, we were not able to improve the canting by using miniscoot or even a wire only, and then we have to send the patient for orthodontic surgery. So at 10 or 20 years back, that we did not have anything except headgear, orthodontic surgery. Of course, there are some segmental wire, like Dr. Ravinanda reported before, that we can apply for that. So today, what I'm going to talk about will be, it's not only for the miniscule. For example, when you are using miniscule for the improvement of the occlusal canting, of course, first you can put the screw at the side which is lower, so that you can intrude the one that is lower, so you can intrude the piece on the right side, and then you can label the occlusal canting. Or you can use a taste at the higher side. At the higher side, you use the taste to extrude the piece on the left side, so that you can label the crossbeam. But in terms of biomechanism, it's easier to use taste to do intrusion. But to use taste to bring the teeth down, actually is not easy. And biomechanically and devices, you won't see too many designs. That is because that is much difficult to bring teeth down by using the taste at the center. So some of the people, they may use, for example, use taste on the lower left and use a rubber band from the lower taste then to upper teeth so that you can do actually. And then again, that means the patient, they have to use rubber band. So the idea will be you put tests there, and then at the same time you can bring them down. But actually, that isn't easy. Or of course, you can have a combination. You can have one side intrusion, the other side extrusion, so that you can balance in the patient's occlusal plan and also their smile as well. But this is not the point I'm here today. I'm not going to talk about how you're gonna use taste to improve the occlusal canting, but I'm going to tell you how I can use a piece of wire. Of course, this wire is not flat. If that is flat, then I won't be here. But it's a curvy wire, allowing you to improve the occlusal plan without surgery or without taste. So let's see what happened then. So what if the occlusal canting is isoteric? You may ask me, when I will use the medium wire? Well, very interestingly, before I developed this wire, I did not see canting, to be honest. Either I created that canting or a patient had that canting. I didn't see it. The reason why I didn't see it is because I don't want to see it. Why I don't want to see it? Because they might have to put me in school, or I have to send the patient to surgery, so I don't want to see it. So unconsciously, I don't want to see it. Consciously, I cannot see it. So there was no can. before I knew how to treat the occlusal canyon without surgery, without TENS. But since I know how to treat the patient with that piece of wire, then I'm seeing it every day in my patient. Almost 80% of my patients, they have canting. The canting could be created by us, or they were there, but you didn't see it right in the beginning. For example, if you are treating a patient without canting, and then in the middle of the treatment, because the patient, they're going to look at the mirror every day. When they have braces, they look at the mirror more often than before. So day after day, when they look at the mirror, day after day, eventually, one day, they will see you. And they will come to you and say, hey, why my teeth not even? My bite is higher on the right, it's lower on the left. They say, no, I don't see, let me see. No, I don't see it. No, there's no cat. I believe you see it, but you pretend to say no. Did that happen to you? Yes, that happened to me too. So that happens all the time. But then that would be the problem is, if the patient sees it first, it tends to suit you. Perhaps it's not happening here, but in the other country, for example, in Taiwan, if the patient sees it first, you're going to be in big trouble. They will argue on that. Then, although you had a photo before, you say, no, you see, before I treat you, you already have the can. Although you are showing them pictures of them, they will not believe in you. They say, no, I didn't have it because you make it uneven smile. So you have to take care of that. Or I will shoot you, or give me back my money. That happens. So today I'm going to show you some of the cases of mine that actually I create a can because of me. So I will show you how I can fix the problem. And the other hand is, if the patient has can before the treatment, you did not see it, and then in the middle you see it, and you tell the patient, say, well, you have a can. You see that? You give the patient a mirror, you see that you have a can. So now I'm going to put a screw in your upper dentition. The patient will say, hey, what happened to that? You did not say that, and now in the middle of the treatment, you want to put a screw, or you want to send me for surgery. They would jump up from the chair and say, no, that was because you make my smile every day. You make my smile uneven. Then both of them will be big trouble. So if you are able to see it, the first thing you have to know how to deal with it. And then you'll be able to see it. Once you see it earlier than the patient will say, Doc, you're so good. Or even, you don't have to tell a patient, and the smile will even right and left. Of course, honest is the best policy. Tell the patient and tell them what they are going to do. If that is non-invasive, is not harmful to the patient always will accept. And because you know how to fix it. So that is my experience for that. So first I want to give it a patient. He's a 49 years old male. Okay? His chief complaint, he said that I have gaps in my lower dentition and I have a missing tooth. And I want to fix it with braces. I don't want to have orthodontics, dentures, or teeth. So look at his face. It was like, okay, fine. But he walked in because the chief complaint is I have missing back teeth and also spacing. And intraoral he said, yeah, that is a class 1 malocclusion. Can you see that? Number 46 missing. And that was the reason why you can see the lower dentition have a gap, have spacing over there, because all the piece on the lower right moves to the right side because of missing 46. So he wanted to have braces to fix the problem. So they must think about this. This is simple and easy. Okay, fine. Let's put on the braces, align the teeth first. Well, the wires that I use in my practice, I only use 4 wires. The first wire will be 014 night wire. The second wire will be 16 by 22 night wire. And then after that, after you align the teeth well, after you label the teeth well, then the next wire will be 16 by 22 stainless steel. So that I can do space closure or retraction or protraction, it's up to you. And after that, I use a 17 by 25 TMA wire to finish it. So I only have 4 wires. Make your life simple, easy. And you don't want to stock too many wires in your office because that costs money. You have many set of wire, a lot of wires, then you have to stock each kind of wires. You don't want to do that. 4 wires will be enough. So for the alignment and labeling, right in the beginning, I use 014 night wire and then 16 by 22 center. So simple and easy, bond the brackets, and then align the teeth. And then after that, I switch to 16 by 22, you can see that. But because there's a missing 46, and actually the 47 had a major tipping, although there was no gap. But the best way is to upright this molar. So if you would like to upright the molar, the easiest way is put an open coil spring right here. Put it there, you open the space, and at the same time, you can also upright the number 47. So it's very simple and easy now. So the next wire will be 16 by 22 stainless steel wire, as you can see. I'm using 22 slots as you. So I have heard the whole Finland only use 22 slots, right? No one is using 18 slots. This is what I know, both. Anyway, but I'm using 22 slots anyway. So then 22 slots, 16 by 22 stainless steel wire, and then over here you can see I put a taste right there. No matter how you put the taste should be in front of the teeth that you're protracting. You're not able to put the taste in the upper ridge because that will be behind the tooth that you are going to pull forward. You say, well, I can push. Okay, tell me, if you put a screw at the upper ridge, you want to push the molar forward, what are you going to use to push? Secondly, what is the biomechanics that you can apply? No, there is no such a way. So you have to put the screw in front of these that you want to move it forward. So the best position will be at the identical space. And then the problem is because the screw will be a bit lower. So when you're pulling forward, actually, the force actually move forward and downward. So you have to be careful on that. And then you will say, wow, that is quite nice because when you're pulling forward, because of the wedging effect, when you move this forward, if you move parallel forward, there's going to be wedging effect. The bite tends to open at the front. So you say that is good, yeah. You also do a little intrusion and you think that is a good direction. Okay, and then at the same time, I also use a uprighting spring. That is a molar uprighting spring. Of course, when you put it forward, the molar tends to tip majorly, and you want to tip it back, right? You want to tip it back, so you use an uprighting spring. That uprighting spring I made it by 17 by 25 TMA wire, so that you don't have to bend the headers over there. You just do a tip bending and then put it in the auxiliary tube of the second molar. and just keeping moving forward and protract more. Okay, you can see now, I was upright in number 46 and then use the taste to pull number 48 forward. Okay? But at this moment, what you can see that now, the bite on the right side is open, right? And then the lower has an occlusal candy now. That happens all the time in my molar protraction patients. I do believe that may happen in your patients because molar uprighting and protraction could be one of the most cases in here perhaps. And that is quite easy. But you have to be very careful saying that when you are protracting the molar, the bite tends to open, and you are protracting one side, and the screw is lower. Don't forget there's intrusive force. So then you are intruding the right side, but not the left side. And then you create a canting. Before you know how to do it, you say, no, I don't see it. No, I don't see it. Because usually if you bump the bracket up and down, both of them, upper dentition and lower dentition, usually the upper dentition will adapt to the lower, and you won't see it. But now, since I only bump the lower, so then the upper, they will not adapt. And then suddenly, after you protract the molar, then you see there's a canting. So then what are you going to do? And then the patient face. You see the patient face now? Are you seeing he has a upper left side, the patient has a left side up lip can. Do you see that? Because now you see the can. And then when the patient sit up from the chair, face to you, when you talk to them, and then you see, oh no, I see the lip can now. Okay, so you see now, the lower had a can in the right, and also the lip had a canting now. So actually, if you see the patient carefully, the bottom line is before the treatment. No, the upper line is before the treatment. The bottom line is during the treatment. Would you please do not try to follow our patient's face? These, for those devices, these, you're welcome to take photos. But when there's a patient face, please do not tap patient face because the patient signed the consent with me to say, I can use their photos. And then suddenly if one of you post on Facebook, have a picture of me and then have a background of my patient face, and then my patient see that, I will be in big trouble. So please do not take the photo of my patients. You are welcome to take the devices, the occlusion. Okay? So now if you look at the patient face carefully before the treatment, are you seeing now? He had a can. Lip can, right? Tell me how many of you have seen this right in the beginning when I showed this picture? Did you see that? There's one have seen that. 2, 3, maybe 1/3 of you have seen that in the beginning. But before you know how to treat the occlusal candy, I will believe usually you will just ignore that. So now you're seeing it. The patient actually has the can before the treatment. But since that isn't the patient should complain, so that is fine. So I spoke to the patient and said, well, don't worry about that. The lower canting is just temporary. I will fix it when I close the space. So patient actually in the middle of the treatment, I find out first. So I spoke to the patient, said, don't worry about that. Your can actually was there already, and I know I'm getting back But that is a process of closing the space. Once I close the space, I will leave it up and then even right left. So you don't have to worry about that. And actually you can notice the patient's face. You can see his hair become gray more than before and get older. What? Well, that wasn't because of me, okay? That wasn't because of Kenty. That was because during the treatment, he was diagnosed with cancer. So he is having targeting therapies. So he's taking some medicine now, actually. This is my current patient, actually. So he actually is a quite positive patient. He faced the cancer very positively. And he said, okay, I want to treat my cancer. So every day, actually, he lives quite happily. Every time I ask him, well, how is your cancer going on? He says it's getting good. The cancer size is actually shrinking. Although I have some discomfort when I'm receiving the targeting therapy, and he said I can make it. So I think he's a quite positive person, and so I was lucky anyway. So this kind of patient, they will never put you to court. They will never suit you. So how do you fix this problem? You know what? So I said, don't worry about that, that will fix it. And now, since we have closed the space, so that is the word that I want to introduce you today now. You're welcome to take a picture of it. So that is a new member of Genius System manufactured by MEM Taiwan and Sweden. And that piece of wire is designed for occlusal candy and facial symmetry. Of course, it comes with two sizes. One is 17 by 25 TMA wire. Another one is 18 by 25 TMA wire. Why there are two wire sizes? Because one is designed for 18 slots. And 18 by 25 is designed for 22 slots. So if you are using 17 by 25 in 22 slots, the force will be too light. Okay? And if you look at the wire, bring the wire and look at the wire from the interior, you will find out the configuration of the wire looks like a Yin Yang or Tai Chi. Because the Yin Yang, positive, negative, bright and dark. So that's a Yin Yang wire, looks like Yin Yang wire. And actually, I was not the one who named this wire. Because I have been developing this wire for a couple of years already. And I still remember that was maybe 4 years ago when I attended our Taiwanese authority meeting. And I wasn't there in the morning because I overslept. So I was there in the morning. So one of my authority colleagues in Taiwan, she was presenting very similar things. And she knew this concept from me, so that he used that in her patient. So at that moment, I called this a very long name anyway. There's no such a name. And then she started to use the name Yin Yang wire in the morning. But I wasn't there anyway. So in the afternoon, when I went to the meeting, and a lot of friends of mine, they came to me and said, hey, where I can get those Yin Yang wire? I said, what wire? They said, Yin Yang wire. What is Yin Yang wire? I have no Yin Yang wire. What is that? Then my friend described me that piece of wire and Dr. Low mentioned about that. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. I said, Yin Yang wire, let me think about that. I said, yeah, I think it's a good name. And it looks like really like a Yin Yang, a symbol of Yin Yang. So then I started to use Yin Yang wire, and I did not use my name as for the wire. I can call that Dr. Eric's Steel wire. You know, like them brackets. It's a Leo's wire. And then my name will be there. But anyway, I feel Yin Yang wire is a better name than Dr. Leo's wire, by the way. So it's like a simple opinion. And if you look at the side, from the side, okay, now look at me, it's front like Yin Yang. Back the side of me was like, actually there's two curl speed, two opposite curl speed. One is curl speed, another one is reverse curl speed. So things cannot be simple like this now. So basically, this word is a curl speed plus reverse curl speed. You see that we spent so many years to try to develop a way that we can solve the opposite canyon. But once we came up with the idea, we said, why is that simple? Somebody, the American doctor, they never commented, it's too simple to be true. I said, well, if I make it complicated, he said, oh no, this is too complicated. No one can use it. And then now I make it simple. Because the first generation actually, biomechanism, when I explain, nobody understands. Even myself, I always mix up. But when I use this word, then people say, well, too good to be true. But anyway, it's too good to true. It's a real thing. I will show you something anyway. So it's very simple, just curl speed and reverse curl speed. And we have 2 degrees, 100 degree and 60 degree. The degree is the force that the wire, the curve of the wire. Of course, 100 degree, that means the curve is more. 60 degree, that means the curve is less. So of course, 100 degree have a stronger force, and 60 degree have a medium force. Okay? So if you have a patient who has a canteen, so of course you want to work with 100 degree first to make the improvement faster and easier. So the 100 degree is for working. Then once the can have improved or have been corrected, and then you change to 60 degree for maintenance. Okay? So the 60 degree is not for working, it's for maintenance. So the main thing that you have to get is the 100 degree one. So don't forget about that. 100 degree is for working, and 60 degree is for maintenance. Now, of course, the canteen have a left side up can, right? And also on the other hand have a right side up can, right? So of course the wire have 2 directions, 2 orientation, I should say. So for a right side up can, as you can see, for a right side up can, so you can see the wire actually goes down at the right. The wire actually goes up on the left. So that is very simple anyway. Because on the right side, you can see on the right side over here. If I put the wire in the brackets, what's going to happen is the teeth on the right side will go down, right? And then again, if I put the wire in the brackets on the left side, what happens to the teeth on the left side? The teeth on the left side will go up, isn't it? And then you ask me, where the anchorage? Well, that is the smartest design of this one, because I'm using the right side as an anchorage for the left side. And then I'm using the left side as an anchorage for the right side. So that is a reciprocal anchorage. You see, reaction, action, right? Action is the way that we want. Reaction is the way that we don't want. But in here, both of the action and reaction, they are the way that we want. So this is very smart, right? And also, you look at a curve at front and back. Anterior using posterior, posterior using anterior, right using left, left using right. So that is a circle. Okay? So that is for left side up and right side down in an arch wire. Fits for right side up opposite canting. The number two orientation is when there's left side up canting. So again, if I put the wire into the bracket on the left side, of course, the teeth on the left side will go down, isn't it? And then again, if I put the wire on the right side into the brackets on the right side, the teeth on the right side will move up. So in that way, I'll be able to control and improve the occlusal canting. So this is very simple. So how we use that? Well, I used to show these pictures, and then a lot of doctors they came to me and said, Doctor, is that I only have to put the wire in the tube only, right? And leave the wire there. And they did not tie the wire into the bracket. I said, no. The reason why I'm using this slide is to show you how's the curve of the wire. Okay? It's not showing you say, hey, just put the wire in the tube, that's it. No. It just as the same that we usually put a plain arch wire into the brackets. So again, you have put the wire in the brackets. If you are using a self-ligating bracket, close the cap. If you are using conventional brackets, tie the wire to the brackets. It's exactly the same way as you are using a plain arch wire. That's very simple. Actually, before I came here, I was asked, can I do a hands-on or workshop on these things? I said, how could I do a workshop or hands-on? Because it's simple enough as putting that plain arch wire. My workshop cannot be like, okay, first we need to put the wire on the right, on the left, put the wire into the left, and put the wire in the brackets. And then 5 minutes after, workshop closed. Okay, anyway, later on we're gonna have a very short demonstration to show you how I put the wire. But as smart as you are here, like, do I have to really show you how to put the wire into the brackets? Give me a break. Okay. So just like as usual that you are doing every day for your patients. And then one thing I have to remind you, if the patient only has anterior cant without canting in the posterior, then you just use the wire. Simple. But if the patient have a cant in the front, also at the back, then in order to improve the cant in the posterior teeth, then you need to put a TPA, transpalpal arch, or a lingual arch. Okay, like I said again, if the patient also have cant at the back, then you need to put TPA and lingual arch. Why is that? Because I said I'm using right to the left, left to the right as the reciprocal anchorage, right? I'm using posterior as the anchorage for the anterior. I'm using anterior as the anchorage for the posterior. But then at the back, since at the front, right and left they are connected, right? And then at the back, since the arch wire is a U shape, it's broken at the back. So you want to complete the circle. Okay, you think about you have a wire, and then I connect right and left the second molar with a piece of TPA. Then I complete the circle. So now I complete the circle. That means the right posterior can you can work on the left. The left posterior can work on the right through the TPA or through the pneumothorax. So in that way, you also can control the posterior occlusal candy. But trust me, patient hardly can see the can at the back. They only see the can at front. So smart as you, like, of course, use correct the anterior can first. And then later on, if you have time, put TPA on the pneumothorax. Okay? Don't put TPA or pneumothorax at the beginning and then put a wire. Don't. So remember what I said. The anterior part is the most important part, the aesthetic. When I was a resident, I still remember my teachers, they taught me to bite the occlusion. It's the most important one. Don't just be a 6 front piece off of it. Because at that time, if you only do 6 front piece and show people, hey, I can align the piece well, I can give the patient with smile. 20 years, 30 years back, people will laugh on you. They say, he is a 6 front piece doctor. He only knows 6 front piece. But in nowadays, if you only do occlusion, people will, he only knows occlusion. He doesn't know anything about aesthetics. So now, remember, the aesthetics is the most important thing because that is what patient care. That is what patient wants. Okay? So add TPA and pneumothorax for the posterior and anterior occlusal can. And because this is a piece of TMA wire, the good thing about using TMA wire is because it's quite flexible, it's quite resilient, but also bendable. Did you remember as I used 17 by 25 TMA wire as finishing wire, so I can do some wire bending? The same thing is, if you want to use the Yin Yang wire as your finishing wire, and you also want to adjust first order, second order, that will be okay, you can bend the wire. But remember, because we have a built-in torque in the wire. Because when we do insertion, right? When you do insertion, the teeth tends to move backward, right? When you do extrusion, the teeth tends to move lingually as well. So actually the wire has been built in those torque, so the teeth can go straight up or straight down. So when you bend a second order, even in a plain arch wire, you might bring in torque. For example, when you bend a second order for intrusion, and then you see the wire tends to have more backward torque. So make sure that you have to bend back. But since we have a built-in torque in there, so sometimes that confuses. Okay, so I still suggest if you have up and down leveling problem, it's better to rebound the brackets rather than bend the wire. Okay, so you have to be careful on that too. So now, how to work on that? Just put the lower inner wire in the slot of each bracket in the lower first. Okay, how to use it? Just put the wire in the bracket. That's it. Tight. Okay. So when you put it in, when you take it into our pictures, if I don't tell you that is an Indian wire, you will never know that is an Indian wire. Because when you put it in, it looks exactly the same as a plain arch wire. But the wire, once you put it in, but the wire will work on your dentition and make the occlusal can even. So just put in there, and that's 1 month. And I also was using a internaxillary up and down box elastic, so that can help to bring it. Because as a patient is a very cooperative, very positive patient, anything I ask, he will do. So at this moment, I want to work faster. So that was after a month of lower inner wire and the box elastics. And then there were 4 months. So you can see the wire actually, leave the wire there, the wire will look right. It's very fast. And actually, he is my current patient. I haven't finished it yet. I took this photo to share with you. It happened to my most recent patient still. But now, why are we using it? Because I want to let you know. So now you have learned this very simple, easy technique to help you to treat your patient better without any other things, actually. So that is that's the reason for of him. I use anterior up and down elastic so I can bring the bites together. So that is the patient face now. So before I put the Yin Yang wire, you can see the lower had a very obvious hand right here. You can see that. And then now it's much better. And also you can see the lip can is back to what it was before. Well, he is not asking me to improve the lip can anyway. Well, he lives for, he came for the function and also for life. So, this is another patient. This is another patient, 23 years old patient, female. So her cheek complaint was my front teeth are crooked. But when you look at her face carefully, not too much decay or chin deviation. Okay? Not too much. But if I measure it, if I look at that intraorally, you can see that it's a very typical class 1 mild occlusion with anterior and a little bit spacing in the upper. This her profile is pretty good, and the cheek complaint is anterior crowding. So if you look at patient face, you can see that the left side actually is higher than the right side, and the canyon was 1.2 degrees. But there's no can at the premolar. No. So this will be a very good indication for using Yin Yang wire. Although the patient cheek complaint is not the occlusal candy, it's only anterior crowding. But if you tell the patient right in the beginning, say, hey, look at carefully. Now, I found out not only you have crooked teeth, but also your canting. And you say, I can, by the way, improve your canting. They will be very happy. They will be very appreciative to you. Say, hey, this is a good doctor. He will improve not only my teeth alignment, but also improve my smile. To tell the patient, when she smiles, the teeth is not even right and left. So then the plan is very simple. You just do alignment, leveling, and then label the occlusal can, done. So again, right in the beginning, that will be 014 nitride wire for the initial alignment and leveling. And then after that, you can see the upper now I changed to 16 by 22. In the lower, I was still using nitride wire because the number 45 still have rotation. So upper 16 by 22 and lower 014 nitride wire for both the alignment and leveling. And that was after 7 months of alignment and leveling. Since the price was deep, and I would like to shadow the bite. So what I'm using is I use upper and lower intrusive level arms. Well, that is the same one as the uprighting spring for the molar, same one. Because when you do tip bending, you tip the molar back, and at the same time you're gonna have an intrusive force at the anterior teeth. And that is a segmental arch wire. So that is auxiliary devices. It doesn't affect the main arch wire. So at the same time, when I'm doing alignment and leveling or space closure, then I can apply the intrusive level up and lower to shadow the bite. So the intrusive labellum I make it from 17 by 25 TMA wire. How much will be tip back bending? How much will be tip back bending right here? 110 degree. Okay, it's 110 degree of tip back bending. So there were 3 months of intrusive labellums. The bites becoming, the overbites becoming better now. In 6 months, and then I removed the intrusive labellum. But now, if you look at carefully, do you see the bracket upper and lower? Is closer on the left than on the right, right? If you look at, I don't have to show you the whole face. You can tell, yeah, there's a canting. Okay, you said, wait. The patient had a can already, right in the beginning, yeah. So I said, okay, because right in the beginning I told the patient already, I'm gonna fix your can. Although I might worsen the can during the treatment, because I do the intrusive labellum, right? The intrusive labellum, if I am putting different forces right and left, now I might create canting, right? So that might be the story why the occlusal canting became worse. So look at that now, the face. The maximum occlusal canting was 1.6 degree. Before was 1.2 degree, right? So it become a little bit worse. But anyway, 1.6 degree patient will not tell. But if you look at the lower also had a canting for 2.4 degree. Oops. Did the patient has the can before treatment in the lower? No. And then what happened is when I align the piece, open the bites, and then end up with a canting in the lower. So really bad, right? Really bad. So then you tell the patient, hey, I'm gonna